Good morning again, and welcome back to the Backpacktrader training room for the crude oil inventory report session for Wednesday, March 13th, 2024. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this type carries substantial risks and should only be attempted with funds you can afford to do without. All right, done with the disclosures for today. All right, the report is out, and basically it's kind of a no-brainer almost. All right, there is our low point. Not much of a reaction today. And our upper reaction so far is right there. In a long trade, that's a reaction trade, so we'll want to see a new setup for that. Same chart that we were looking at crude on the morning session, the 8-tick range bar on Spotlight. That's an 8-cent momentum bar for TradeStation. Upper left is unleaded, 20-tick range, just like we were looking at earlier this morning. 0.002 momentum on TradeStation. And bottom left is the counterpunch 377 tick chart. And we are into our session now. Unleaded giving us a short trade, 504. And no, I'm not going to do that. That just niggled us in. And a short trade on the 377 now. The blue line is our money management. That's minimum of 10 ticks. So we are short on unleaded and a pending short on the 377 tick counterpunch. Unleaded is also on Spotlight, by the way. Please do say hello in the chat. It's nice to know who's here. Oh, okay. That's an add-on long. So that is also a potential trade. The short did cancel, so we will look for that long, but it's also canceled now. And back to a short. Nothing on crude, and we're still short on unleaded. 79.23 for the short. And looks like money management's going to be at 79.13, which is going to be minimum target 1. And now we have that cancels, and well, it hasn't canceled, but we go long. We get that big long that the calculator's tracking. So we are long. The short did cancel, obviously. So there is our current trade. And still, I'm waiting for a new trade on the spotlight chart. Not going to take that reaction trade, especially with no more activity than I'm seeing. And we stop and reverse too long on unleaded. Entry at 533, so that will adjust 4 ticks to 537. That's our stop and reverse adjustment. And there's no key level adjustments there. Did trigger in. There's money management. So we went 504 to 537. So we lost 33 ticks. This times 2 is 66. Target 1 traders. You're trading to target 1. You picked up 30 ticks less 4, 26. So you're down 40. Target 2 traders are still down the full 66. Stop will now be at 538. Plot's at 34, but our stop and reverse adjustment pushes that up to 38. And 377 hit money management, so we stop out at a break even for 1 tick, 79.37. And we are flat there now with 1 trade in the books. All right, unleaded hitting target 2. Target 2 traders picked that up. We have a possible short trade on the 377 tick, and still nothing new on the full counterpunch spotlight chart, or the full crude spotlight chart. And the short triggers in. Looks like the target 2 is maybe our 10 tick minimum. Yep, that's exactly what it is. So our target 2 is our actionable target. It's also our minimum target, our minimum money management. And we stop out of the unleaded trade, and now we go short, which I suspect is required because we're not likely to be 47. I don't know. No, we're not. Probably not going to be positive on that. We got 47, 37 to 44. Yeah, just 7. So 54. Yeah, we're still down 12, so we should be taking this short. I would take that as a get in sync since we weren't sure. Still in the short on the spotlight chart, or on the counterpunch chart, and there it just punched through and gave us a target. So that is going to give us our goal, target 2 winner. This will be the power of quitting trade on the counterpunch chart. They have a pending short. Calculator is tracking it, but it's a pending short for me because I didn't enter immediately because I wasn't sure where we were. So you're down 33 for target 1 traders. You're down 12 for target 2 traders. And the trailer on counterpunch is 79.23. And continuing to push down, 79.18. 79.37 for the entry. $79.12, big push down. We did enter the short on the unleaded chart, still no trades. On the crude chart, it's like 79.11. Yeah, 79.11. It just moved down to 07. And stopping out at 79.07 for 30 ticks on the trailer. So 10 on target, 30 on the trailer, 40 ticks. That's a $400 trade on the full count. Hey, Neil. Hey, Crypticon. Unleaded trying to fight back positive. Stop and reverse on the first trade. Target 2 win on the second, and we're in the third trade now in a short. Looks like maybe bouncing off the 50 on the unleaded, but we'll certainly not over. That trade's certainly not over. Possible long trade. Here it comes. That's going to be at 18, it looks like. And we didn't get above the balance line, so they doesn't no long. But if we get up close above the balance line, that definitely is going to be a long trade, and it's going to be at 26 at the moment. The bar will close at 22, which would put our normal entry at 24, and that's going to key level to 26. I'll go ahead and put that order in because we know that's where it's going to happen. And if it goes down, I can always cancel it. And we got up to 22, so yeah, it's got to go one tick beyond to close, and it closed down, so no trade. Okay, we got down to 11. So 21 would be the entry now if it goes up. And I'm going to adjust that to at least 23. Yeah, I put it at one tick above that swing level. I certainly am not going to put it one tick below that. And it got down to 10. Yeah, so still 21 would be our plotted entry. So I'm going to still take 23. Okay, and now it's pushing down even further. Low of 06, so it's going to be 16 now. And it's a squeeze zone trade, so it's no trade anyway. Never mind. It's a filtered trade. Notice that 50 just barely got in between the trade actually was a little bit lower. Target was at 30, so if the trade got below that, if that got below the 50, it would have been a valid trade. Stop would have been at 94. Ouch. Looks like we stopped and reversed to long, and we've got a pending stop and reverse back to short on unleaded. And there is a short that's a valid trade. So 79.04, money management 78.94. That's also target one. All right, short on crude, and unleaded's being a mess up there right now. So our first target is 94, and our second target is 87, and the stop is 79.26. That's how easy it is to put the orders in. So the stop and reverse short canceled. We took a full stop on the long, and now we are in a short that's taking heat. So kind of difficult day on unleaded for the crude inventory report. Had a nice win this morning on the regular morning session. First trade on our spotlight crude chart. And there's another squeeze zone filtered trade on crude, spotlight crude. That's the gray. The trades in gray are filtered trades. Still short there, still short on unleaded. Not much going on. Meaning that there's a filter built into the calculator. In this case, it's what we call a squeeze zone, where the 50 EMA is pinching in toward the 200 and falls between the entry and target, the first target. So that's a squeeze zone filter, and that would keep us out of that trade, keep us from stopping and reversing in this case. Although the stop and reverse would actually be at 23. So if the trade prints in gray like that, and you with the indicators you have the ability to change colors. If you're red blue colorblind, you can obviously change the colors and certainly change your charting colors, your bar colors. But Spotlight also, you notice it's not red and green bars. You got red bars, green bars, and then these gray bars. So what Spotlight does is, when you're in a long trade, it shows all the bars as green. Bright green are up, dark green are down. Shorts are red, so down bars are bright red, up bars are dark red. And then the gray bars are when the system is flat. So down bars are the bright gray, and up bars are the dark gray. So it's just how they're picked. just to make it a little easier to recognize when you're in a trade. That was new with Spotlight. That's not in Counterpunch, so the Counterpunch is just a normal. I happen to like to use red and blue rather than red and green for my bar colors. Alright, going down through the entry again, testing the 200 EMA for a second time. Couldn't push up through to the 50 again, and now we'll see if we can push downward. And there it is, and that just touched money management, did not fill. But that will still mean we move our stop to 03. So I will do that, and then and it stopped out. But that's why we protect that, especially if you touch it and don't get filled. Certainly don't want to take a loss on that. So that's the first trade, it's break even. We got back to our entry on that short trade, which is down here at, and well, that's a pretty sizable trade, it looks like. There is money management. Yeah, that's going to be 85 ticks to target 2, 55 to target 1. And a 67 tick risk. So essentially that was a break-even trade on the short side on crude, and now we're headed upward again on unleaded. And no man's there between entry and stop. So we have a potential long entry at 12 coming. That one's going to get filtered as well. That's in the squeeze zone. We already have our exhaustion dot, so an up close will give us a trade, but it will be filtered out. We got down to 79.01, so it's 11 now is where it's going to show up if it does. And there it is at 11, but no trade because of the squeeze zone I was talking about earlier. 50 pinching down toward the 200 and coming between the entry and target 1. So we're not going to, in this case it's pinching down toward the 200, so we're not going to take a long trade against the 50. If it were pinching up from below the 200, we wouldn't take a short. Unleaded taking some heat now. Just missing the stop on unleaded. Still in the short. And we've been in here 30 minutes waiting for, and we've just had one trade on crude on the spotlight chart. And we take the full stop out on unleaded. That's looking like it's going to be a down session today. That's 5 trades. Not much going on. Pretty slow price action. Not much of a reaction to the report this morning. Now we're starting to get a move up, and that filtered trade would have been successful. But I'm going to lean on the system because that's the way I tested it. And that's the way it was tested. I've tested on crude and on micro crude. So I'm going to stay with the trade plan. Questions or comments? This is going slow motion at this point. Nothing to do. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Now, normally I won't. Normally it's less than 30 minutes, but if it's not going to move this any more than this, I would normally run up to 3 trades on crude and up to 6 on unleaded, or through 5 on unleaded, and I've got 1 more and 2 more on crude, but we're just not getting any movement at this point. So after 45 minutes, I think I'm going to call it a morning. So I will see it. We will do it again tomorrow morning. Not the crude oil inventory session, obviously, but the regular session we'll do again tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. As far as I'm aware at this point, next week will be a normal schedule: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 9:30, and a crude oil inventory report session at 10:30 on Wednesday. So we will see everybody tomorrow morning and do it again. Everybody have a good one. And there's the 6th trade. Well, there's the 6th trade on unleaded. I wasn't watching as I was. Well, let's take that one or go follow that one and see what it does. Unleaded breaking the new session highs. Still nothing on Spotlight crude. Although a couple of up bars now would give us a long trade. Down bar is not going to help us. Hey Mark, how are you doing? I forget, what part of Florida are you in? I'm about giving up on the session, Mark. We're in our 6th trade on unleaded, and it just triggered us in, now headed in the wrong direction. And we've only taken 1 trade on Spotlight crude. 377 tick counterpunch got it done for a positive session. Okay, so you're down in the general area of Fort Lauderdale or Miami, or possibly Naples on the other coast. Yeah, it's a beautiful day here in North Carolina, but it doesn't look. It's looking like it's going to get a little nasty over toward the weekend. Looks like a fair amount of trading going on, but just and quick. Now we get that. That's an exit point because that would be a seventh trade. That would be out of trade plan. So we would exit at 594, and definitely a losing session on unleaded. Still no trades on Spotlight. So given that, and given that unleaded is now done, I am going to call it a morning. I will call it a morning this time. And we will see everybody tomorrow. So everybody have a good one. And we will see you tomorrow.